Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Catch, and I'm back. Today we're going to sew the big fat signature into the cover of the journal. The first thing I'm going to do, you can see I have it clipped top and bottom. I have already gone through and put my pages where I want them and all of that jazz. And then I'm going to set it in my book cradle and poke the holes. Then we will poke the holes from this one signature into the cover. I don't need a template or anything because it's just one signature. So as long as I get my holes lined up with each other, it will be just fine. So how is everybody? I hope you're good. So the point of the book cradle, because if you don't know, if you haven't seen these, they're in my Etsy shop, is to keep the holes straight on your spine. So to make sure that they come out of the actual spine instead of off to one side or the other, because I have used like phone books and books to poke holes, and sometimes when I poke from the inside out, you know, I might end up with my awl coming out this way or coming out the back. So the idea of this is just to assist you to keep it going straight. And you can see when it pokes in, it goes down into this little kind of trough that's in the book cradle, and that's how it keeps it straight. So we print these on our 3D printer here at the house. I came up with the idea. Well, I've seen them in wood. It's not like I just was genius and came up with this idea, and told my husband about it, but told him I wanted it a little bit smaller because some of the wood ones are really big. And so he came up with the design and everything for the 3D printer. Okay, so I poke in the middle, and then I poke roughly 1 inch down, and I'm just eyeballing it because, again, as long as we get this lined up with the cover, it's all gonna be fine. And then 1 inch up from the bottom, roughly, again. And so there we go. I have my holes in my the spine of my signature. Like, what is this thing called? I can't put this particular journal cover into the book cradle because it's a rounded spine. So then it would make a V in the middle, and I obviously don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna kind of finagle it here so that hopefully I can get it where I want it. So I'm just gonna kind of try to figure out top, bottom, that whole thing, and I'm going to move my clip so that it holds the outside as well as the signature. As best, that's going to be a little, I'm going to put it up higher. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here, just so that we can get it as close to in the center as possible. This is where it is easier to do a regular, I cannot squeeze those things. What do you call it? Not a rounded spine. How's that? A regular folded spine. Because then I could put the whole thing into the book cradle if it's one signature. No, that's not going to work. Still wanting to go a little bit wonky one way and then the other way, so that's not going to work. We're going to have to just hold this together again the way I originally had it and go from there. Because it's pulling it from side to side, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so we're gonna just try to get it pushed down as much as possible. I'm trying to look and see that I have enough space here and enough space down at the bottom. And this is tricky for me too, because I do not do these very often, these rounded spines. So don't feel like you're alone if you try to do this. And we're going to hope that we got that right. Okay, and I'm going to try to just hold it for a minute, and I have my needle ready to go. So I'm going to go from the inside to the outside because I don't want my ties on the outside. However, if you wanted, what do you call them? Charms, dangles, what have you, then you would want to go from the outside to the middle. I'm not a huge charm fan. Dangly fan, but that's just me. Like, I know it's beautiful when people make them. I'm just not very good at making that kind of stuff. I've never been into the jewelry thing. It's not that I don't like it. It's just not my style. How's that? Linda at Handmade Iowa is really good at it. So if you want to watch somebody who's good at that or does that, she would be a good person to watch. And then the trick is to get it back into the center one again. So you go in the middle. I'm just going to pull it through all the way and then I'll get it. In the middle first, down to the bottom. From the bottom all the way back up. Why am I so stuck? This is why I don't do this on camera, because it's always some difficulty happening. And then you go back in through the middle. Hope I said that right. Okay, why can I not see this? Sorry if I have my head in the thingy-majiggy here, camera. Okay. Then I'm going to make sure I have one string on one side of this middle line, the middle string there, and one string on the other side. And I'm going to take off my clamps because I don't need them anymore. And then I pick it up and kind of shake it a little just to try to make sure I get it tight, you know, taut. You don't want to obviously tear anything, but you want it taut. And I lift. And I do 3 knots, but, you know, if you don't want to do 3 knots, then don't do 3 knots. And you want to see it's kind of like a guitar string. It's pretty taut there, so that's how you want to get it. And then I usually do tie a little bow in mine. You don't have to, you can leave it with just knots. You can even hang dangly things off of these central inside bits, and that's fine too. And I put a little dollop of glue on my knot on the inside. You don't have to do that either. It's just a me thing. And then cut these however long you want them. And voila, it is sewn into the signature. I don't want that to glue together, so there it is, all sewn in. And we have it. So because it, you know, when you poke the awl, I may end up putting something over that. I don't know. I don't know. I might put a little lace on it or something. We shall see. You can also kind of finagle these, you know, push it all back together and put a little glue on them. That works too if you're not real worried about that. It's just shoving the paper from the outside or from the inside to the outside, so, you know, it just pushes a little piece out. But I'm weird about that and I don't like it, so. All right, that is what I have for that. And then we're gonna put the cover on it. And the inside, it's all good. It all lays nice and you can open it all flat. I mean, it's a little puffy because it's fat. It's a fat one. It's a real fat one. Put this back. I took it out because sometimes if you sew things, this does land in the center, and I didn't want to put holes in my journaling card there. I do need to make another journaling card for back here, which I have not done, but we're going to work on the cover. So I also am thinking I might want to put this under what I put on the cover. And this is just seam binding that is all kind of grungy, all grungied up. I wish I had just coffee dyed, but all I have is the mushroom colored seam binding, and then I dyed it a little bit with coffee and Tim Holtz stuff. So do I want to put that under there? And this journal is spoken for, if I did not say that. I want to put some pieces of lace under this as well, just to kind of continue on with that look. Can't tell which way this lace goes. And I have a piece to go up the side. Might actually take the pieces and glue them to the back of it first. Let's try that first. So this was a piece that I did, I can't remember if it was the Nuttin' But Neutrals or what I did this one for. Or no, this one might have been I saw it in Somerset Studio magazine. It's hard to remember. It was one of those. One or the other. This I kind of want to come out the side, but then I want it to go back in. just so those frayed edges are not out. Okay, I like it. This is PVA glue. Of course, you can use Fabri-Tac, whatever kind of glue you like to use. That's what you should use. Oops. Oh my gosh, I dripped that everywhere. What in the world? That's not good. This is why it's better to do this at the beginning. But for some reason I could not get my act together and decide how to do this cover on this one. So now I'm making messes instead. I'm gonna open this. These things. You have to be strong enough to actually open the clamps. Make sure this is coming out straight. Okay, that's pretty good. I forgot to tell you guys I added those. I mean, I'm sure you can see that. But I just did it on a weekend and didn't say anything about it. I did add a little bit of alcohol ink to them just to give them some kind of staining in some spots. Antiquing, I guess you could say, because they were so gold. All right. Now we should figure out what we're going to put in that other pocket. I'm wondering if the piece I made, it's kind of small is the only problem. Probably should have thought of this ahead of time. But we made this yesterday for the 50 stack challenge. I'm wondering if it would go in there. I mean, you can put anything in there. But yeah, that's kind of just going to get lost in there. And I don't think I have any other big ones. I'm going to pause you guys for a minute and get some things together so I can make that last journaling card. I'll be right back. Okay, hello, I am back. As you can see, it's a new day. I'm wearing different clothes. I went down the rabbit hole yesterday after I paused the video. So I went ahead and put some lace down the spine because I found this just little piece that fits so nicely. So I put that on. And this is all dry, which is nice because now I can open this without having to worry about it falling off or something. So we're at the back and we're going to put a journaling card in here. Oh, and I put a doily on here and just a floral piece from a ephemera pack that I have. I got at Hobby Lobby with just all kinds of flowers and things. So I put that on there and a piece of music and one of our little grungy labels that we made the other day. So that's what I did there. So we're going to do the journaling card that's going to fit in there. And I've already cut a piece of book page that fits in there. Oh, I don't need that. So I'm going to close this for now and set it over here. And sorry, I left my gloves on because it just feels better. So I try not to wear them during videos, but here I am. So what I'm going to do is just collage a background on this, and then we're going to add some things to it. Just bits of old letter and dictionary page and a piece of ledger. There's just all kinds of little bits that I had in my scrap box. I like this because it's got a green tint to the paper, which is kind of cool. It'll be a nice background. If you don't have things like this, which I understand because it did take me a long time to collect these sorts of things, as I've mentioned before, digitals are great because there are a lot of digitals. If you look up like Ephemera digital download, Ephemera is just bits and pieces of paper. So you can find them like that. There's a lot of people like Gail Augustinelli. I know she's got like old letters, old, what do you call it? Ledgers or checks, you know, receipts, those kind of things. And there's a lot of people also. I just can't off the top of my head, but you should be able to find some digital stuff, which is always nice because then you can print it over and over. I've just been collecting for a long time, so I do have a lot of little tidbits, but I know they can be very hard to find. So digital often is the way to go. And then plus, you know, if you don't like the idea of using the old stuff, although I have to say there's a lot of this stuff, like these old ledgers and things that are just starting to disintegrate because, you know, it's just paper. So gluing them down onto something else is actually really truly giving them another life because they're not going to last forever anyways. So kind of prolonging their lives. Although I know it can be sad taking this stuff apart sometimes. But hubby's doing something down there, so if you hear it, his hand is better, so which is wonderful because that's no fun. And then I think I'll just leave that bit like that. Or do I want maybe this little piece instead? Yeah, I think I'll just use the little one. So we're going to cover stuff, and I don't care if a little bit of the book page shows. I just wanted some different things around. Around and about on the edge. I have one of these Tim Holtz photos. I thought would be kind of cute. I like that. And this Wholesale Florist. This is also a Tim Holtz piece. I'm trying to decide, do I want it under or over? I think I need to rough them up a little. They're looking too squarish. Ugh, sorry, I know that's an awful sound. These are pretty thick, so. You can also kind of bang the corners. Don't bang too hard because they'll just fold, but if you just kind of, you know how the old photos get, they get all dinged on the corners and stuff, and it kind of does that. I like that photo. That little girl's so cute. She's got her basket with flowers. So that worked well. Still cold today. Sun's out though, so that's a good thing. And I do feel, I'm so sorry for y'all that are having tornadoes and all that. We don't, thankfully we do not get any of that stuff here out west, but I can imagine that would be terrifying. My sister for a while lived where there were tornadoes, and I remember, you know, she'd talk about how they have to go down in the shelter and all that. And no, thank you. Scary. Very scary. We do get earthquakes, which also can be scary. But the one good thing, if you live like where I live, you can like go out into a field or something, and it's not that bad because you don't, as long as you don't have something over your head, that's the big thing. Well, down power lines, all of it can be bad, but been in a few earthquakes, and luckily, knock on wood, they haven't been too horrible. Not like tornadoes and hurricanes that you guys get every year. I don't know. That's just scary. We did have one here, earthquake about, gosh, it's probably been about 4 years now. But anyway, it did buckle some people's driveways, which was crazy. But luckily everybody, you know, nobody got like seriously injured or anything. Don't want the dictionary page. It's trying to be part of it. And I have just a washi. I wonder if it's gonna work. And I'll just trim off whatever. Although the San Francisco's had some major earthquakes that like whole roads, you know, freeway systems and stuff like that. And that would be scary because they collapse. Being in a skyscraper would not be fun during that either. Did you see that? I can't remember where it was. Cambodia, or no, not Cambodia. Was it Taiwan? I don't know. I'm so sorry. But they had a major one not too like last week. And they were in skyscrapers and like pools, and the water was going over the edge of the building. Oh my gosh. Terrifying. So that, yes, that would be quite scary. Kind of pushing it up against the edge of that photo. I just don't want a bubble under there, so I mean, it is a little weird because it goes off an edge, but and I didn't have to cut any off of that. And then this one, oh, that was good, has you know, you can write right there, but I think I do want to put something over that. I don't know what. Go through my, oh, that won't be big enough. Going through my scrap bin. The endless scrap bin. I wonder if this is wide enough. That might work. I'm not sure where I got this. I think it was Paper Cameo, but I'm not positive about that because it's just in my scraps. But I'm thinking that's where I got it. Kind of want this sort of even between either side if possible. I'm going to leave the honeybee up there. I mean, I don't even need to cover the text, but just wanted to. That'll be pretty. I like it, and I will stitch around it. And we'll do the flip through tomorrow along with some other project. I think I'm going to take, I know I say it all the time, but a break. I said it before, this one too. From making journals, just, you know, a little one. Just make some ephemera and stuff like that. I just need a break from that. But I mean, I'll still of course be making videos and all that, just not starting a new journal quite yet. Sometimes you just need a little respite. All right, so where is it? I guess I could just do the flip through right now since it's basically done now. And if we have anything we find, then I'll know what I need to do. That will get stitched around, and I'll put a little fabric tab on there. So, but other than that, all right, we can go through it. So you guys have pretty much seen this pretty well in the last couple of days because that's what we did. I'll measure it because I know I did have questions on the size of the paper bags, but it doesn't really matter. You can use any size paper bags, just cut them to whatever you want. Anyway, it's 7 across this way, so 14 total if it was open, except there is like a just about an inch spine, so it'd be 15. But I did the curved spine, so And there's videos on all that. And it's about just over 8 1/4. And that was all based on the bags. And I used 2 kind of not the great big paper bags, but they were a little bit larger. They weren't lunch bags. You could use lunch bags though, and that would be fine. And then I also used the panels of the lunch bags. This particular cover was made from one of these from Amazon because it's thicker, like a grocery store paper bag. So for the cover, you probably want, you know, something thicker. And then I collaged both sides so that thickened it up nicely. I mean, it's not super thick and it does curve a little bit with the journal, but I think it's fine. And that's why I did put the corners on as well, just to strengthen it or whatever. And then I didn't put any pockets here, but you definitely could if you wanted to. It just started to get fat and I just didn't do that. So, but there's a journaling card here in this bag, and this is a large glassine bag. One of the real crinkly kind, and it has a piece of fabric. I did this, I think this was a Somerset Studio, but it's real grungy. It's got, oh my goodness, this thing, Stabilo All pencil and water and gesso and all that to make that kind of grungy look on it. Did a little stitching, a safety pin on some lace. And then on the back, there's one of the Tim Holtz portrait gentlemen there. This was also another Somerset Studio, I believe. Are these? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, that goes back behind him. He's just a tuck, just glued at the bottom. And then this is one of my digital kits. I think this was the Grungy art dolls. There's some really cool backgrounds with those art dolls in that kit. So that's where a lot of these papers came from. This one was, I just pulled this up for a lady the other day and I can't remember. This is Tailor-Made Journals. It's really hard to remember because they were all scraps. So it wasn't like one kit I used. That was a pocket I made quite a while ago. But there's that little lad there. Well, he's not that little, but young man has that. And a little circle, spot to write, all Tim Holtz paper here. And then this is one of the side panels from the little bit larger bag. So you can see that's a pretty good size side panel for the bag. And I just collaged down the side, put gesso, Stabilo All, painted it with gesso. This side's also painted with gesso. There's that tag. We made that one together. That I made for my 50 stack challenge. So a lot of times I get asked, what do you do with the stuff you make from the 50 stack challenge? There's one of the pieces there. This I just covered with old book page, you know, the end pages. Another piece of that I just used, that trim. That, another one of the side panels. These die cuts are in my Etsy. This is from a book. That's book page. And then these 2 tags. That's another one from that same first one I did. That was the same video. This I did for the Nut and Butt Neutrals challenge, this pocket here that has a tuck in here, and if you glue it just 3 sides, then you can have a tuck behind as well. But it's all lacy and fabulous. Some old ledger paper. This is made out of sewing tissue, multiple layers. Made a little booklet that's stitched into the signature. This is where I grew up in, I grew up in Virginia City, Nevada, and that's the old International Hotel. It's not there anymore, it burnt down, but I just always have loved that building, and I would have loved to have seen it in real life, but anyway. Same building before it burnt down, and then that is one of my pockets from one of my kits. I think that's the Dragon Rider kit. And this tag here That's an old 1910 Munsey magazine advertisement. This is one of my watercolors that's been collaged on. That's just tucked into that pocket. This pocket was given to me by Lorette Chandler. I don't know why it always catches. For some reason, there's like nothing in there, because when I put something in there, there's nothing that it catches on. I think it catches on maybe that back flap, because there's multiple flaps in these. Oh. Well, that is just the weirdest. Because that other little thing slides right in there. Oh, see, that time it went right down, so it must be catching on that flap. And then an altered playing card. And we did this one together. This we did for the 50 stack challenge. It is in there. And this collage was one of the first things I did for this. Oh, I didn't put anything in there. I'll have to put something there. I'm gonna put... I'm just going to grab one of these photos. That's not what's going to stay there, but I want to remember to put something there. This is glued down all the way. And then we have a postcard tucked into that little pocket. I just did, those are stuck down all the way. Some more writing space. I did the same sort of thing with the old, or the coffee dyed paper that had a tear in it, like I did on that one page that we did together. There's a journaling card. This is player piano paper. I just put gold around the edges and little collage. And this is the page that I was talking about with the coffee dyed paper, coffee dyed envelope, and that torn sort of edge up there. This is permanently glued to the back of this envelope, so that doesn't come out, but that does. And that's a fun little piece there. And some writing space. This comes off, and then it's just a piece of book page there that you can write on. You can write on the back side of this as well. And then this is this other side of the sewing tissue little booklet. Just put some paper here to write on. Little collage there. Ledger paper here. I was thinking this would be a good spot for photos or whatever. Put a little piece of lace down here. There was a tear. It's just the way the paper bag was. You know how they have the little like thumb spot on them. So that's what that was. Writing space, writing space. This is a little flip. It has a little pocket here and another little pocket here, and this more writing space. And that flips out, so you can write there and you can write all on that. And on the other side of that flip is a little pocket. This is a copy of an old postcard. And this is another one of the side panels from the bag. So I've used, you know, 2 whole bags. And then these little bit shorter ones this way, the ones that aren't as wide across here, these are from HelloFresh. It's just a different paper bag. And then this, why is that stuck? I'm like, that should not be stuck. That's been in there for a while. That's a paint chip that's just been decorated up. And I did glue a little bit down the side of this, so it's open on this side, but it is it does have a little glue down at the bottom. I just was worried with the dangly and everything. I was trying to make sure it stays just nicely attached. And then this is just a writing pad, the glassine bag. It's the other end of the glassine bag, and then the pocket or the journaling card we just did back there. And you could definitely put more in this glassine bag. There's plenty of room. And then back here is this pocket. It has been signed. Another paint chip there. And that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I had a blast. And I can't believe these are paper bags. Because I just love them. And it has the seam binding that's been dyed and what have you, and it is glued in, so it does have to stay. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll chat again soon. Love you. Bye.